happens when you seek legal advice about a settlement agreement? Now, whilst I can't speak for all employment lawyers, I can of course speak for myself. I've been around for a little while, so I know how these things work. And typically most employment lawyers follow the same sort of process. If you contact my team, then we'll ask you for some information about yourself, your employer, and we'll ask you to provide us with your settlement agreements and your contract of employment and a pay slip if you have one. And we'll also ask you to provide us with any correspondence that you've had with your employer leading up to the settlement offer, and if there has been any proceedings beforehand, like a disciplinary or grievance, we may ask to see that as well. We will then set you up as a client with us, where we'll ask you to provide us with your identification, which is part of our processes for money laundering and compliance, being solicitors. After we've set you up as a client, we'll send you our customer care letter and terms of business and arrange a time for an appointment with one of our solicitors. Now, this is normally done by telephone, although we can offer Teams meetings if you prefer to see someone face to face. Once we've reviewed your settlement agreement, we'll have that discussion with you. And the purpose of the discussion with you is to ask you what the circumstances are and how you've got to the point of being offered a settlement agreement. Now, most decent lawyers will ask you for the information about your case. They will analyse it for you, and then they will assess whether what you're being offered by the employer is a reasonable offer in the circumstances, taking into consideration what potential claims that you have. And we will discuss that with you. So if we identify that you have potential claims based on what you've told us, then we'll explain to you what your likely recovery would be if you were to pursue that in the employment tribunal, and we'll give you our view on whether the offer that you're being made by your employer is reasonable or not, taking into account all of the circumstances and the fact that you're being offered the certainty of the money now and that you're actually receiving it now rather than having to wait until you get an employment tribunal judgment. So that's the process that we will follow in advising you. Then once we've advised you, if you'd like to negotiate on that, then we will give you some advice on how to do that yourself, or you can instruct us to do that for you, in which case we'll contact your employer. We'll also run through with you all of the terms of the settlement agreement so that you understand exactly what you're signing. Again, I think this is a really important step in the settlement agreement process because you are agreeing to waive your rights and a number of promises in the settlement agreement. So it's important that you fully understand what those are. So if you do go to a solicitor who doesn't do that with you, then it's important that you ask them to explain the terms and that you ask them any questions that you have about it so that you're fully aware of what it is you're signing. If you decide to accept the settlement agreement, then we'll arrange for you to sign it and for it to be sent to your employer along with our invoice. And we will send you a letter afterwards just summarising the discussions that we've had. So if you are given a settlement agreement, you do need to contact a solicitor in order to get some advice on that if you intend to accept the offer. Now, of course, if you receive the settlement agreement and you have no intention of accepting what's on offer, whether you have advice or not, then you don't have to get advice, you can just reject that agreement. But I would give you a word of caution in regards to that because, again, you need to have a full understanding of exactly what it is your potential claims are against what you're being offered to be able to make that decision, in my view. So hopefully that's helped you to understand exactly what the process is if you are given a settlement agreement. And if you have any questions, please do leave them in the comments.